happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, July 12th, the 193rd day of the year. There are 172 days left in 2022. Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Thom, brought to you by the Best Girl Consulting Firm. My hometown, Birmingham, Alabama, is hosting the World and the World Games, because when you host the World Games, you're actually hosting the world. 2022 World Games pit some of the best athletes on the planet against one another in sports such as lacrosse, karate, weightlifting, and over 20 more that you will get to hear about from our G-List guest today. For the first time since the inaugural event in 1981, the World Games will take place in the United States, specifically in Birmingham, Alabama. Our G-List guest for today is Rashada Leroy. Rashada is the CEO of LRY Media Group, an event production and media company located in Birmingham, Alabama. We look forward to hearing from her today. Should be interesting. This edition of Tuesday with Thom, of course, is sponsored by our partners, the Best Girl Consulting Firm. Best Girl has been providing customized solutions to executive issues for 34 years. Let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Hi. So before we get to the round table, I will say that Miss Leroy is going to be with us this morning, but she is popular as because the World Games are popular. And so she may be a little late because she had to do another interview this morning. So we will continue through with the round table until she comes on. So that's just a little note for everybody. So let's get to our roundtable regulars, Barbara Wallace-Edwards and Michael Walker. Barbara Wallace-Edwards, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Thom. I'm doing well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. A lot of rain, but other than that, life is good.
Well, it's moved out of Birmingham. We had some rain here on Saturday and a little bit Sunday, so it's moved on. So I guess it moved your way.
We're supposed to have rain through Saturday. So
wow.
Doesn't rain. I mean, it's not raining now, and it just rains on and off.
Right.
But you know, it's actually cool things off a little bit, and that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yes.
Excuse me, man. I had caught a cold last week, and
oh no,
pretty much over it. Yeah. So, Barbara, tell me about the World Games have kicked off. You were there for the kickoff. Tell us about it.
Thom, yeah, the World Game opening ceremony was held on last Thursday. It was absolutely magical. That's all I can say. There were, I don't know the actual numbers of how many people attended. I've been looking for the official numbers, but there had to be 40,000 people there, it seemed. And
where did they hold the opening ceremony?
They held the opening ceremonies at Protective Stadium, the new stadium downtown, right there next to the BJCC. And it was something like Birmingham has never seen before. Rashida's company, LRY Media, they did an exceptional job of producing that event. They'll also produce the closing ceremonies and also the merchant marketplace. And for it to be a local company, this was certainly on a national level. It's like things I've never seen before in Birmingham. And the lineup of performers on it, you know, we had Yolanda Adams and Nelly, Sheila E., Randy Owens, Bootsy Collins, and Bo Bice, and Taylor Hicks. And, you know, they were just, the people that was actually performing was just world renowned. the crowd was great. Everyone was in such a good mood. I stood outside of the gate, just greeting people as they walked up, and people were coming from all over with smiles on their faces. Traffic was horrible, of course, because they have security so tight in that area, but no one was in a bad mood. Everyone was smiling and happy. And it was, like I said, it was something like people have never seen here before in Birmingham. Just a great, great atmosphere.
Well, I want to just put one thought in your head when you say that local company could do something like that. You know, all companies are local.
That's true.
And when you're good at what you do, you can do it on a national level. So I think that we should think of ourselves as that, as opposed to saying, I always thought it was somewhat offensive when people say, well, he's a local actor. No, you're not a local actor. You're an actor.
You're an actor. Yes.
You're not a local performance company. You're a performance company.
Right.
And I think we have to, if we have to look at ourselves in that way, particularly in Birmingham. We have a bad habit of
trying to put people in a
putting
box.
Ourselves on the level that we should be on.
You're correct.
That's great. I'm glad, you know, and so all that downtown thing, I guess uptown, what they call it, all that worked out well then, huh?
Yes, it has. It's worked out really, really well. The new Legacy Arena, the Protective Stadium, all of that's being utilized, but they're using venues all over the area. You know, there's some events are held in Hoover, some in Vestavia, some at the Barber Motorsports track, and so they're just all over the Birmingham areas, not just in that uptown downtown area. Some events are held at UAB, Birmingham Southern. So there's venues all over the area that are being utilized.
I saw my good friend Frank Bracada was involved, and Frank, of course, is the mayor of Hoover. So it's great to see that, excuse me, that other cities, you know, because we got a gazillion cities right in the Birmingham metro area. Yes. So it's great to see that there's cooperation and that everybody is getting along and enjoying it and is a part of it.
Absolutely. And Mayor Randall Woodfin touched on that. He's talked about the unity of the various cities in the area and how they're all coming together to work on this event. And, you know, they started working on this, I think, 7 years ago when the contract was awarded to Birmingham. And to see it all come together now is just, again, it's just wonderful to see the unity and people working together and the smiles on everybody's faces, and everyone seems so happy. They had people parking at venues across the area and being bussed in. And there was some confusion with the bus on the first day or so because of, you know, routes had to be changed because streets were closed, but people still came in smiling. There was some, you know, saying they, instead of waiting on a bus, they decided to just walk 10 blocks just to get there. They didn't mind walking in that heat. So, and they still showed up with smiles on their faces. So again, it was just wonderful, wonderful event.
That's great. That's so good. Again, like I said, I'm very, very proud of Birmingham. And I haven't met Mayor Woodfin, but people are very complimentary of him, and it seems like he's doing a great job. And I congratulate him, his staff,
absolutely,
for what they've done.
He's a busy man, but you know, we really should try to get him on Tuesdays with Thom, because I think he has a lot to say, and you know, some wonderful things that are going on in the city and in this area. And I think he'd be a compliment to our show.
I would love to have him on. I would love to. I think that would be great. Like I said, everything I know has been wonderful. And, it's good that we've moved on.
Yes, we have. And it's good to see the security that they have in place. I was one of my volunteer jobs was to be a VIP driver. So I had one of their vehicles that was clearly marked with, you know, all kinds of signage and everything. It was a brand new Mercedes SUV, and I picked up some people from the German Federation and was going back into the confined areas, and I had to stop, park the car. They had dogs walking around sniffing the vehicles, and the security is so tight, and I felt really comfortable with, with all that security. I thank the officers, he was like, I apologize for holding you up. I said, no, thank you for taking the time to ensure that we're all safe. So that didn't bother me one bit. And I hope it didn't bother others as well, because it was really, I felt really comfortable being out there in that environment.
Very good. Let's get Michael on, and we'll further the discussion.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Barbara.
Morning, sir.
How you doing, Michael? What's happening with you?
Oh, I'm hanging in here, and congratulations, Barbara. Great job being our correspondent there for the World Games and bringing it to us, letting us know what's going on there in the Steel City, the Magic City.
The Magic City. Thank you.
What'd you call it the last time? What'd you say?
The Magic City. Magic City. Yeah, Steel City and Vulcan City.
In Vulcan City.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Vulcan ain't one of my favorites, but it is what it is. It's like maybe we could come up with something better than that. But anyway, Michael, what's up with you?
Well, Tom, I want to tell you, we're 4 months away from midterm elections and things are heating up, especially here in Georgia. Our friend Herschel Walker is back in the news again, as he is every day. And right about now, it seems as though the Republicans are beginning to have second thoughts. And when I say second thoughts, they're concerned about his candidacy. And as of yesterday, they're bringing in additional staff to bolster his staff and try to improve on communications and what he is presenting. There's also concern that they're spending so much money with Herschel that it could be other candidates that, quote, better candidates. Things are not looking good. But
very interesting.
Go ahead. I think you
did he phrase?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yes.
I don't. I'll just say this in hopes he'll be back on here shortly.
Right.
I don't know how they expected him to go well.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Just following up on your comment that things weren't going well. And I just said, I don't know how they expected them to go well. But you've been talking to me about this for a good while, and you met him and you talked with him, but you said all along that just because Warnock's a black man, you don't just go get another black man to run against him in hopes that that's going to nullify, well, black on black. I guess that makes sense to some people, but it doesn't make sense to me. But go ahead, Mike.
You have to have another qualified black man to run against him.
You got to be qualified. That's what I meant.
That's exactly what I meant.
Yes, it looks as though Herschel may be losing some grounds from independents. There was one poll that came out recently that showed Warnock up points, 54-44.
Okay,
I can understand that.
I'm surprised you said 54-44. He's
yes, that's what he said. Yes.
Okay, 54-44. I'm surprised it's that close. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Politics. It's politics, but
right.
I don't know. There's a part of me that feels not sorry, but it's like, why would you do this? I guess that would be the question. Why would you do this?
A lot of it. Well, for him, I don't know. I can't answer that question. But I know a lot of his support is because of the former president backed him. But that's not looking too good right now either with what's going on. And there's also, you remember Dr. Oz that had the TV show?
In Pennsylvania. And
he's running in Pennsylvania. And word is he's not a good candidate either. That he is trailing the Democratic challenger who had a stroke, and that's not even speaking. So that tells you something about the former president's ability to select someone to run for Senate. So this is going to be very telling. A little bit more to the home front, Stacey Abrams is still vying to be the first African-American female governor in the U.S. She's challenging incumbent Brian Kemp. And in the last 2 months, she outraised Brian Kemp $22 million to $7 million fundraising.
Wow.
So
that's huge.
She's always been known as an elite fundraiser, and she's getting a lot of support from Hollywood and Soros and a lot of these people. And it's interesting the strategy that she's implementing now. She is calling on Governor Kemp to increase all of his initiatives. So in other words, when gas prices were very high, Governor Kemp was the first to come out in the nation and to suspend the sales tax, to lower the tax in Georgia as far as buying gas by the gallon. So where everybody else was paying $4.90, we were paying somewhere like $4.30 or something like that. So, and he's been doing it incrementally, like every month, setting it to expire, and then he'll redo it. She came out and said, well, you ought to just go ahead and do it to the end of December and make that your goal. Well, recently, Georgia just received another $2.4 billion in COVID relief funding to match the other 2.4 we already had. So now she's come out and say, well, you need to go ahead and give that money back to the citizens of Georgia as rebates, and go pay teachers and firemen and all this. And then she said, you need to call Joe Biden and see if you can do it, because I'll call him right now and get permission to do it. So she's trying to one up, and it's pretty funny.
Right.
Let me, I'm going to go back to Herschel for a minute. We talked about the polls. How does he do with women? Do we know that?
Well, I think it probably depends on the group of women that you poll. I would say most of the women that are Republican, they are probably supporting Herschel because he is Republican and he went to Georgia and won the Heisman Trophy. Now, on the flip side of it, you're going to have a lot of women that are part of the Me Too movement because, as you know, Herschel had an issue where he supposedly or allegedly held a gun to his ex-wife's head and faced some issues from that. So it looks like they are split. You know, the Republican women are the ones who caused Joe Biden to win the last time. And it seems as though they may be drifting away, but a lot of the Republican men are still holding steadfast behind Herschel and saying they're overlooking all those past transgression. They'd rather have him than Warnock.
Okay. That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Barbara, you got anything else for us? I don't think our guest is on yet.
Thom, I'm just looking forward to the rest of the World Games. I actually go out and volunteer again today, tomorrow, and then this weekend. The closing ceremonies will be held on Sunday. And so I look forward to having another report next week to talk about that event and all the other activities from the World Games.
Okay. Excuse me a minute. We got a little issue going on here. Okay. Michael, we talked a little bit about the. I mean, you guys were talking earlier before the show about the football, and
yes,
there are now 16 teams in the SEC. I can't believe that.
Yes, with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas, there would be 16.
Wow.
There's 16, and you know, Thom, there was rumor that there's 4 other teams that has contacted the SEC and interested in joining, and that's North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, and Virginia. So I don't know if that's rumor or if it has been confirmed or not, but there's a lot of talk about that. But I think Michael has stated that the commissioner is saying that the SEC is closed for business. They're not interested in adding any additional teams to the conference at this time.
Yes,
okay.
That was a response to the article that was put out by Down South, I believe, that you're referring to with the 4 teams.
Yes.
And that's because of the recent activity of USC and UCLA jumping from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. And the question was proposed to the commissioner, what would make the SEC decide to go after other teams? And he said, right now, we're fine with the product that we're putting on the field. And we feel like in the past, because we've had the SEC closed as far as joining, and we've had good product on the field, that will increase our brand, and there's no need to do it. Right. So then they say, well, what if Notre Dame were to decide to join the Big Ten? Would that cause you to make a move? And he said, no, I don't see that as being a reason for us to make a move at this point. So you never know what's going to happen, because they're all jockeying. And you know how that works, Tom. You know, they don't never want to let them see your hand and what you're thinking, because it's all about the element of surprise.
Right.
But, you know, we talked before that when you look at the top 10 most valuable football college franchises, well, 6 of them were already part of the SEC, and 2 of them that were not are now about to join. So now if you have 8 out of the top 10 most valuable football franchises, why do you need to add?
That's so true.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Barbara?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little more about the World Games.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see what we got in the chat here, guys.
I think they're ready.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Okay.
She's on. Yes.
Okay, great. Let's get her on.
Okay.
Hey, Barbara, would you just pick up this discussion, you and Michael, with Rashida, and I'll be back on in just a second. I got something going on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We could do just a minute.
Yeah, we'll do just a minute first.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Sean Jones, and this is Got a Minute. Hello to everyone joining in with us this morning. It's the second week of July, and I'm still trying to figure out where the first one went off to. Anywho, here we are together again, so let's get into it. On this day in 1976, the television show Family Feud began airing on ABC. For anyone that doesn't know what Family Feud is, well, it's a show that features 2 families who compete to name the most popular answers to survey questions in order to win cash and prizes. It became hugely popular in part because of the personal charm and witty banter of host Richard Dawson. The show continued with 4 different hosts, Louis Anderson, Richard Cam, John O'Hurley, and Steve Harvey, well into the 21st century. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Sean Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
Thank you so much, Sean. And now we're bringing on, I'm sorry, go ahead, Tom, you're back.
No, you go ahead, you got it.
Well, our G-list guest for this week is Rashida Leroy, the CEO of LRY Media. And as I've said before, she has done a phenomenal job with the opening ceremonies for the World Games. And we're so proud of her. And she's also responsible for the merchant marketplace and will be responsible for the closing ceremony. So let's bring on our G-list guest for this week.
Rashida Leroy.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah. Thank you for what you're doing. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys are wonderful.
Thank you.
I mean, I can ask you a gazillion questions, but I'm just going to start off and say, tell me how you're feeling this morning. How's it? I mean, I know it's going well, but just tell us about are you as excited as we are?
I really am. I really am. Deep down inside, I'm really excited. I am very energized today. The opening ceremony was a great show, great experience, great opportunity for us. A lot of work. People keep asking, "Hey, when did you all start planning?" Like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, "No, 2 years ago we started
Right.
planning." So it's been really excited. But today I'm energized. We have a lot of team members and crews who are reassembling for the closing ceremony, really ready to close the World Games out with a bang. So we're just ready. That's probably, if somebody said, "Give me your adjective today." I don't know if ready is an adjective, but if it is or is not, my word today is ready. We're ready.
I've been I'm from Birmingham, but I'm in and out a good little bit, and I've been seeing the signs for a couple of years. I even got my cap, and I don't have it here with me, but it's in the other room. But I got my World Games cap because I'm very, very proud of what's going on. I just think, tell me, how'd you get into this business?
Absolutely. So, how I got into this business, I have been planning events probably for 15, 20 years now. I used to own a magazine, it was called Upgrade, and that's actually how I started planning events because we needed to find ways to promote that business. At the time, I didn't really know it was event planning. It just felt like this is what I need to do in order to be successful with this particular business that we were in. I got an opportunity to then work in corporate America as a corporate event planner. And then in 2017, I decided that, hey, that entrepreneurial spirit just would not go away. And so, how can I take these skills that I've learned being here at this company with all of the things that I had done prior to that? And that is where LRY Media Group came from. And so, in 2017, started out on my own, and as they say, the rest is history. We submitted a bid in 2019 for the World Games, and I think what a lot of people don't know is it had to be probably around 2015 when the city actually went after the World Games. 2017 was really when we started to hear a lot of the buzz that this thing is really going to happen in Birmingham, and it was 2019 when the opportunity came for us to present a proposal to produce the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. So we have been at this for a while. That's also, remember COVID came through. So for a whole year, we had to plan virtual and just really, pull our teams together through such an adverse time. And July 7th came on us so fast, it seems. and
So,
and we were in it.
so Rashada, people always say, and we had this conversation before you came on, that, well, you got to get a big national company to do this. You can't get a local company to do this. They don't know how to do this. And I always was in the minority because I always fought for the local. I don't even call them local companies. I just call them companies because
Companies,
local seems
yes.
Right.
to denigrate in some way. What gave you the confidence to
Yeah,
go after
absolutely.
this?
Absolutely. So first, Tom, I pronounced my name Rashida. I know all the A's
Rashida,
throws
I'm
it throws
sorry.
everybody off. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'll get it
I
right.
make that correction multiple times a day. So no, it is
Okay.
truly okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I yes, we are based in Birmingham. We love this city. There's so much great opportunity here. One thing we want people to know is Birmingham is truly open for business. We can handle events like this, and there are companies here who can produce and program at the highest level. And so you're right. I remove local from that name. We are a business. Sometimes I even remove small business from that name because we are doing big business, right?
Yes.
We may be small
Yes.
in size, right? We may be small in our employee count according to what they say a small business is, but we're truly doing big business, not only here in Birmingham, but throughout the nation. So it means a lot that we get this opportunity. We also thought a national company would come in and program this event. So you can imagine when we got the word that, hey, you guys are actually going to, do this, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is really real. We are really getting this opportunity and we have to make the most of it. Not only, again, representing the city, representing the state of Alabama. I am the first Black female, first Black company to do this. So we're also making history. And so representing people who look like me, who look like us, who say, I want to do what she's doing, or I want to do what they're doing. And so it feels like I have a lot on my shoulders right now. And I'm here, I'm prepared, I'm ready for the challenge. But it's been amazing. We've been able to also employ other minority business, other female-owned businesses, you know, veterans, people with disabilities. And that's been a great opportunity as well. I see that as an opportunity to serve. And so we're serving our community in so many ways by this one project. So it's been really exciting to do that.
Okay. Well, let me get Michael and Barbara on. You guys got questions?
I do. Good morning, Sarah. It's so good to see you this morning. And I, of course, I'm here in Birmingham. I've been volunteering for the World Games, and I attended the opening ceremony, and it was phenomenal. I am so proud of you, and hope I get a chance to attend the closing ceremony as well. Don't have a ticket yet, but I'm working on that. But I am just truly proud of you. And I want you to talk about your beginnings, your humble beginnings. I understand you're from Dothan. You went to school at University of Alabama, received your degree in Management Information Systems, and then pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And so talk about your beginnings and what has been your biggest inspiration as far as entrepreneurship.
Absolutely, man. That's a great question. I actually love that question. So yeah, from Dothan, Alabama. I cannot say I was born and raised. I actually was born in Pensacola, Florida. And then my mom moved us to Dothan. We then moved back to Pensacola. I did grade school there and then moved back to Dothan. So I claim Dothan and Pensacola as home. Dothan is really where I, honed a lot of my skills, the friends that I met, the opportunities that I was able to get. My family is such a big inspiration. My mom, her name is Angelina Leroy. My mom started, it's not the first Black newspaper, but she was the first Black female to start a newspaper in Dothan. And so when it comes to inspiration, one, she's my number one inspiration. I'm her biggest fan. She is my best friend. And so she really taught me what it means to be an entrepreneur. And so I learned so much by watching her run her business, watching her be a leader in the community. And I really didn't know at the time that those things were being sown into me. And it wasn't until I got to this crossroad where I said, okay, what do I really want to do with my life? Where do I really want to go? And as much as I enjoyed the University of Alabama, it took me about 6 years to finish. So I enjoyed it a lot. As much as I enjoyed that journey, going into corporate America, it felt like, hey, this is just what you do. You go to school, you get a degree, then you come out and you get a job, and then you retire, and then you go off, into the sunset. Well, my story was taking a whole lot of turns because it was like this light in me, this spirit. I really want to be in my own business. And I really want to be able to serve the community. And so that's where that real journey began for me when I said, I'm going to start my own business. But what I didn't know was that I was going to start a business, a publication, because I ran from that newspaper. I was like, I don't want to do this. I just want to go out on my own. But I didn't realize at the time what she was sowing in me and what I was learning from her. And so it's been really amazing to be on this journey, knowing where I come from. I tell people all the time, you're looking at a little Black girl who was raised in the projects in Dothan, Alabama, who had a dream and decided I was going to go after it. But I also had a role model who was there every step of the way, guiding me. And she's still doing that to this day. So shout out to my mom, Angelina Leroy. She's probably, when she watches this, she's somewhere in tears. But it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And shout out to all the Deltas in the world.
Yes.
We love them.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay.
Thom, my mom. I think y'all did some work together in Pensacola.
Yeah, I'm sitting, when you said Angelina, I'm just sitting thinking, Angelina, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, do. Yeah. Nice lady, great lady. We did some great work together. So good. Yeah. So now I know where you get it from. Okay.
I get it from my mama, Thom.
I hear you. Michael, you got a question for Rashida?
Okay. Yes.
Good morning, Rashida.
Good morning.
And thank you for being with us today. And let me congratulate you on a successful opening ceremony and what I know will be a successful closing ceremony. Yes. So congratulations on that. I like to go back to where you submitted your proposal and put in your bid in order to get this? Because absolutely, it was might I say, a David versus Goliath if Birmingham was looking for a national brand. Tell me what set your proposal apart from your competitors that enabled you to win this?
Yeah, great question. I think it was our vision. We really had this idea that we wanted to tell Birmingham's story. We wanted to weave in aspects of the state of Alabama because, of course, you can't talk about Birmingham, right, without at least, paying tribute to this state and how we as Alabama are, as a people. So that was number one. It was this true vision of how do we celebrate our city. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who all submitted a bid. Every now and then somebody will say, hey, this company or that company. I don't even know what some of those proposals were to even say, how they stacked up against us. But when we got feedback, the feedback was your vision was very true to this city. It was very authentic. And we really felt like this was a story that could be told and that could come alive in such an original way. And so our vision for the opening ceremony was really to celebrate Birmingham. We want to talk about Birmingham's present, where we're living at right now, Birmingham's past, and Birmingham's future. And when we think about Birmingham's past, it's the starting of Birmingham, how we became the Magic City. Sloss Furnaces played a key role in that. And so if you notice in the opening ceremony, there was a scene that was dedicated to Sloss. The civil rights movement, there's absolutely no way that you can talk about Birmingham, the state of Alabama, or the world, right, in a conscious way without paying tribute to those heroic people who really put their lives on the line for us. And then to talk about Birmingham's future, how we are moving into this age of health tech, the different businesses that are setting up shop here, the restaurants that we have, and just the opportunity. And so that was our vision from the very beginning. And it was real. We were able to play it out. And so I think that's what gave us the advantage. We were local, our team is local, and we have the heart, right? Like we know the heart of this city. And we were able to really communicate that through the opening. So I think it was really our vision that set us apart. I think every team probably came through and said, we can do this and we can do that. We did that as well. But at its core, we really wanted to be true to Birmingham. And I think we did that not only in the proposal that we submitted, every step of the way in our planning, the vendors that we hired, the people who are supporting us, and then what you saw play out on the field on July 7th.
Well, that's a great response. And I want to commend you on having the fortitude and the boldness to bring in the civil rights movement, because a lot of people probably would have shied away from that. And like you said, you can't tell the story of Birmingham and Alabama without including that. So my hat's off to you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank
Great
you.
job.
And
And
I think we did it in a beautiful way too. I think some people may have been concerned it would be controversial, but it was like we have to celebrate what our heroes did for us.
Yes. And I was going to say, I think that's probably what set you apart, because you were authentic in doing so. So good job there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was in a meeting maybe a couple of months ago, and this team was pitching a project to one of the corporate leaders in town in Birmingham. And they kept going back to, well, we had the opportunity to do this with Coca-Cola, but Atlanta got it from us. And then we had to do that, but Atlanta did this. And we tried to, and I was sitting there just steaming. It's like, why are you continually putting the city down?
Right.
And I think that's something we've had to get over. And I can say this generationally, having been involved a good bit when I finished school and started out in the corporate community. I was listening to your story, and it's like, okay, that sounds like mine. I started out in the corporate community and then went out on my own. And I think that we have progressed so much that you can talk about you're never going to get away from talking about what happened in Birmingham. But it's part of who we are. It's part of the fabric. It should have made us stronger overall. And so I'm just, it's wonderful to hear you say how you guys went about pitching the city. It's great.
Yeah, and we have a great city here, and I'm
Yes, we
excited
do.
about our Mayor Woodfin, and what he is allowing us to do in this city. And I think the one thing that I want people to really recognize about the World Games, it's great. We're gonna close, like, we're midway, right? We're at the halfway point. We're gonna finish this thing extremely strong. But this says that Birmingham is open for business. We can do events
Yes.
like this. And you said something, Thom. I literally removed from my vocabulary, like Atlanta, like Nashville, like
Yeah,
Charlotte. I'm
yeah,
like
I'm with
Birmingham.
you.
Right.
There you
And
go.
everything we do, we're doing it for Birmingham. And we're not trying to
Birmingham.
be like anybody else. We're trying to be
Right.
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
So that's a great point.
Yeah, celebrate Birmingham.
Yeah.
And just to go back just for a minute and talk about when I come into town now. Like I said, I do some business up there, so I'm up there a couple days, at least a week out of every month. And when I opened my business downtown, I had a guy come by one day, and so Teresa, this lady who was working with me, said, "There's a guy up here that wants to see you." And I said, "Well, who is it?" She said, "I don't know." And so I went up there, and he said, "I saw your name in the window." And I said, "That's a black guy." And I just wanted to see what your office looked like. I'd never seen a black office. and
Wow.
you just and now I go to town and I see the Rashidas, and I see all the young attorneys, billboards are all over the city, and so on and so forth. And so, people will say, well, nothing's changed. No, a lot has changed.
A lot has changed.
And thanks to you guys who are making it change. And I'm just very, very proud. So
Thank you.
Barbara, you got another question?
I do. So Rashida, you not just running LRY Media Group, you also have another company that
I
you run.
do.
And I think you probably have one of your products
I
this morning.
do.
Tell us about that. Those are
do.
so unique. Beautiful.
Yes. I think in the World Games, hemisphere, other things that we're doing is starting to get a little lost in the background, but it'll come back once
Yes.
we finish this. But yeah, we started a jewelry line. It's called Loeb, and it's LOB Jewelry. It's an online store. We hand make all of our pieces. And for those pieces that we don't hand make, we work with vendors who exclusively hand make their pieces. So I'm excited. I used to make earrings for myself when I was in college. And so it's a passion of mine. One thing COVID taught me was that you still have to have multiple sources of income. When I think about wealth building and creating wealth, we know we do that through entrepreneurship. And so I've been very intentional about building brands that I'm passionate about. So lobejewelry.com, it has a lot of great pieces on there. And we've been received very well by a bunch of, all of our fashion lovers, our jewelry lovers, and just people who really want to support us. And so, yeah, excited that, when we finish World Games, I told the team, I said, hey, y'all get ready because we got to do some launching. We got to get new product up. We got to do photo shoots. So it doesn't stop over here. It doesn't stop.
That's great. That was beautiful, by the way. I love the earrings you have on today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I've got to ask you, is your mom watching the show?
I don't know. Let me tell you. She'll probably be like, why you didn't tell me it was on? And I'm like, I'm just moving.
Well, tell her
she
can go to YouTube or Facebook and watch it. But just tell her I said hello. I will. I haven't seen her in a while. Michael, you got another comment?
Yes. Rashida, I want to ask you what's next for LRY Media Group with the success that you're enjoying with the World Games, and you couldn't buy any more advertising or better advertising. You couldn't even afford this. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming your way that's kind of in that genre. So what are you looking at on how to build off of this?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, this is a great resume builder, for myself and many others. We will consider this a once in a lifetime opportunity. It may or may not come back around again, right? And so it is our goal to really position ourselves to different entities so they know that we have the capacity and the capability to produce large, complex events on an international, global level. And that's really what our plan is. It is to take this experience and to say, hey, we know how to put a proposal together. We know how to submit a bid now for these type of experiences. To also expand, we love Birmingham, but we recognize that there are, other markets where our services can 100% be leveraged and utilized. And creating unique experiences and opportunities. So when you do an event like this, you learn a lot. You learn how to do a drone show, or you learn how to do pyro and that level of fireworks. And so for us, it is one, new business opportunities from a global perspective. It is us creating unique opportunities where we can leverage a lot of the technologies that we've used in this show and beyond. And then really thinking through other markets where we know our services can be utilized. So that's our top three. I tell people sometimes I do strategy sessions with myself. And so coming out of World Games, I got a big strategy session waiting on me, just thinking through the what's next. We talk about strategy, we talk about things we want to do, but there's execution that has to go with that. And so that execution will start with me and a team of folks, and just looking forward to leveraging it.
Okay.
Well, I've got a goal for you for what's next. It might not be next, but it can be next down the road or whatever. And that's the Super Bowl.
Yes. We're going to claim that right now. Let's claim it.
Claim it. I may retire after we do Super Bowl. I'm claiming it. I'm already saying we're doing it. So Jay-Z, Jesse Collins, whoever needs to hear this, we're here, we're ready. I'll even shadow for the next Super Bowl so that they understand that we can really do this for the next Super Bowl. So we're here. I'm putting the hit out.
Okay. Yes. Well, from what I've seen, you guys are certainly up to the task. And
thank you.
I think it would be wonderful to see you guys do it. Barbara, Michael, you got other?
I do. I have one other thing. I want you to talk about the closing ceremonies. Who are you having to close out this great event on Sunday? Some of the acts that are coming on and being involved in this closing.
Absolutely. So I think everybody knows that Lionel Richie, Alabama's favorite son, will be back in Birmingham. I've been hearing it's been at least 30 or 40 years since he's been in this city performing. So we're excited that he's going to actually close out the show. We have our American Idols from Ruben Studdard to Bo Bice to Taylor Hicks. So we're excited that they'll be a part of the show. Pastor Mike, who saw me in the tunnel, and I have to give a shout out to him. I hadn't really met Pastor Mike before. He has had such huge success with his career. He will be at the Stellar Awards this upcoming weekend, and I pray he wins every award. But he touched me and put a prayer on my spirit so strong, I felt like I could conquer anything. He's going to be performing. So we're excited about that. The closing ceremony is a celebration. And so unlike the opening where we were able to tell this story, we're leaving this thing with a party. We want to celebrate the athletes. We're celebrating the sports. We're celebrating all of the people and the power that made this possible. Outside of the opening and the closing ceremonies, we have the World Games Plaza. We're producing that as well. And so that's 11 days. It's a free experience. We have entertainment, food trucks, sponsor booths. And it's just been amazing if you have not been under the I-2059 bridge in Birmingham that they've turned into a park. And so it's been amazing to see how the city has received that space, and we've been able to program. We have a tent out there called Alex. It's the Alabama Experience. It's a high-tech workforce development piece where you go through and it literally can tap you into every open position in the state of Alabama. So I say, if you're looking for a job, go out to the World Games Plaza. We also have a partnership with Microsoft where we're creating the HBCU experience. I don't know how many people know this. We have the most HBCUs in the nation located in the state of Alabama. We have 15. And so there's no way we can do something like the World Games and not highlight those institutions that are so important to our community and have been important for so long, as we know. And so that HBCU experience is highlighting all 15 schools that we have in this state that are considered HBCUs. And so we're excited about that. And then there are the sporting events that are happening around the World Games. And so I got a chance to go and I saw the sumo court. I didn't get a chance to see the actual match, but to walk in and see how those things are set up. There's gymnastics. Somebody posted that breakdancing looked like something out of a video game. I mean, so it's so many wonderful sporting events that are happening around the games. I want to encourage everybody to go to twg2022.com because you can still get tickets to the closing ceremony and you can get tickets to the sporting event. So that's my spiel.
Okay. Michael, you got anything, final thing, or Barbara?
Well, the final question, I understand you went to the University of Alabama and you studied management information systems. Tell me how your degree in management information system has helped you in your entrepreneurial career.
Oh man, so much. And shout out to David and Joanne Hill, who run the MIS program at the
Yes.
University of Alabama. They really made an impact in my life during my time there. One thing about MIS is we call it there's a lot of process and systems. And so whether you're coding, I learned, computer programming, C++, COBOL, and a couple of other languages. I learned how to build websites, programming in HTML. It's processes and systems. So no matter what, there's a starting point, then you have what's next, and then you have what you need to do after that. There's a if and then, there's a yes and a no, and each one of these things have a path. So if it's yes, I go this way. If it's no, I go that way. That's the approach that I take with all the events that we do. It's always a process. It's always a system. And so everything that I learned in those classes, I literally can apply that from documentation that we had to create. We built a Bible. We call it the LRY Event Bible. And it is literally every step of the way. Here are your processes. Here are your systems. If it's yes, you go this way. If it's no, you go that way. Ultimately, our goal is to end up in the same place, which is a successful event. So I took all of that. I'll tell you too, my time in corporate America, I worked in the PR department. So working, in MIS, which is, IT, doing computer programming, and then going into a public relations department, which is all content. It's all about feeling, right? It's all about trusting your instincts. Being able to bridge those two, that was important for me too. When I got into corporate America, I used to tell people I'm being paid to learn because this is something completely different for me. So I was able to take both the processes and the systems and really learn the art of marketing and PR. And some kind of way it all fused together to get to where we are now. So that's really how I think about it. And that's been my approach.
Who'd you work for in corporate America?
I worked at Alabama Power, one of the greatest companies in the world.
It is a great company.
It is. That's family over there. I won't start naming names. I believe you probably know a few people who I work with, especially from your Auburn days.
I do know several over there. They're good folks.
Great people. Yeah.
And another point I'd like to pick up on that you talked about the HBCUs. And how many are in the state of Alabama? And I didn't realize it was that many. But those are things that would not have come out if you didn't have a, quote, local company.
Right.
And so that's where I think you guys have been able to capitalize on this, on who you are, and to celebrate who Birmingham and Alabama. Hey, we can talk about the warts. We got warts. Everybody's got warts. I always tell people all the time, people forget that Atlanta's in Georgia, and that ain't necessarily a compliment all the time. So anyway, a final comment from you, Rashida.
Yes. A final comment from me.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. My final comment, one, thank you all for having me on. So excited to be able to talk to you this morning. I think my final comment is, one, I want to encourage everybody to live in the moment. I'm encouraging myself to do the same thing. There's so much going on these next couple of days. There's so many details, planning, people, places, just a lot of tasks that have to be done. But I'm encouraging myself to live in the moment, and I want to encourage everybody else to do so. And if you just have not had a chance to check out the World Games, I have to pub it again. It's twg2022.com. You can still get your tickets to the closing ceremony, and there's still so many great sporting events that are left for people to see. The schedule is on the website as well, and the schedule for the World Games Plaza is available. So twg2022.com.
Barbara, Michael, can you guys just hold it just for a couple of minutes? I'm going to step away just for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yes.
Okay.
Rashida, I just want to say again, congratulations.
Thank you
so much for what you've done for the city of Birmingham and placing us at an even higher level on the map.
Thank you.
I've encountered people from all across the world during the World Games, and everyone has been so positive and just so appreciative of everything that has taken place so far. And a lot of that goes back to you. You had been working with a wonderful team of people. I know Pam Cook and Kathy Boswell and Jay Robertson and Nick Sellers and some wonderful, wonderful people that is on that team. And you guys have just done a tremendous job of making Birmingham proud. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And our CEO, Nick Sellers, I mean, you talk about vision and I mean, every day there's something unique that he comes up with. And it's like, we need another World Games, Nick, to do all the stuff you want us to do. And so we pray that we get another World Games so that we can. But he's been phenomenal leading this organization, and everybody you spoke of, they've just been amazing pulling this together.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I couldn't let this slip by without having my cap on. I should have had it on at the beginning of the show.
Well, Thom, I'm jealous. You got a cap and I don't have one. Now,
I don't even have a cap, Thom.
You know what? I ordered this cap over a year ago. I saw it. Man, I'm gonna get one of those caps, you know. And
that's nice.
Yeah, because I'm a Birmingham backer. So anyway, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So much. Thank you for the job you're doing. And where's your office in Birmingham?
So we're located at Innovation Depot. That is downtown Birmingham. It's actually an incubator for businesses. So we've been there for a little over 3 years now. And so we appreciate them too, because they give us 24-hour access to our office. We never have any issues. And it's just been exciting to be surrounded by a lot of thinkers and doers in that space. So
maybe next, when I'm in town one time, we can visit.
Absolutely. Please let me know.
Okay,
please let me know.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for being with us.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, that was wonderful. It was exciting for me, as you could probably tell. My closing commentary for today, or as I see it, as you've probably heard me say several times on this show, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and continued to spend a good bit of time there, both business related and visiting friends. When I finished college and returned to my hometown, we, being those of us living there and thrust into the city's leadership circles, struggled with the images created in Birmingham 10 years earlier in the mid-60s. Leadership struggled with how to change the image. But knowing all along, there's only one way to change an image, and that is to change the image, which takes a lot of substance. It has taken years, industry changes, new generations, but in my opinion, Birmingham's moment has arrived. It's a city on the move. Does it still have issues? Of course. Who or what city doesn't have issues? I always have to remind people that the great Mecca of Atlanta that many brag about is in the state of Georgia. And as we have seen, living in Georgia is not always a walk in the park. It's like other southern states and cities. So Birmingham, upward and onward, I look forward to being a further part of your change. And that's how I see it on this July 12th in the year 2022. And that's our show for today. We want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. We want to thank Michael, Barbara. We want to thank our G-list guest, Rashida Leroy. Thank our sponsor, Best Girl Inc. Thank Emily Hedrick, the communicator, Sean Jones, the organizer and producer. Remember to enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Peace.